Hey guys, I'm Jason R. Curry with the Freedom Group of eXp Realty. We are doing for sale by owner videos. This is the final video in the series. You made it! So I'm glad that you were able to make it through the series, and I'm glad that you're here for it all. I didn't cover every marketing technique out there, but I covered the vast majority that are the most successful. And that is what's important to you, and this is the things that we do. So ultimately, what is the most important part of everything involved? Well, selling, but how much are you walking away with? Knowing your numbers is absolutely important because if you mess this up, it could mess up your whole closing. And you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you are moving forward and you are going to be able to walk away from that table. So some of the things you want to do before you even get to the point of selling your home is find out how much is owed on your mortgage. Now, I'm going to give you a quick tip here. This is really important. If you did any kind of mortgage adjustment when the market crashed and they did all these great, crazy things to help sellers out, find out if there's a secondary or third loan on your property. I have seen mortgages get dropped in value from $200 to $130, and the seller didn't realize there was a $70,000, $80,000 second mortgage that they were supposed to be paying on or that has to be paid off upon closing. And then the numbers were way off. They weren't walking away with anything, or they were coming to the table with 10 grand. And that is just not a situation I want to see you in. So think about those quick things. Now, what are the costs associated with selling your home? Well, obviously, you already paid for all the marketing stuff. You got probably $700, $1,000, $1,500 into that. So that's already money that you put out of your pocket. I always say usually plan on $1,000 to $1,500 for repairs. Usually it doesn't cost that much, but if you budget that, it gives you a little bit a buffer there. Sometimes we do run into situations where there is more. Going from there, in the state of Connecticut, you need to find out what your town charges. The conveyance tax in Connecticut is generally 1% all said and done. Now that is different depending on where you live. So, for example, there's 19 towns that charge 1.25%. What it is the state charges 0.75%, municipality charges 0.25%, but there's a few that charge 0.5%. Then there's also places like Stanford who charge extra over certain price ranges. So pay attention to that. Look into it to make sure that you're good to go. I can give you the list. Actually, you know what? Here's the list of the 19 municipalities that have a 0.5 transfer tax. Now let's move over to the next portion of that is if the sale price is over $800,000, then the tax for state goes from 0.75 to 1.25. So when you're in the luxury real estate, you need to be prepared for that. Even if it's not luxury for your town, it's just that's the price range for your areas. Places like Greenwich, Fairfield, stuff like that, where it's very common where an $800,000 house is a nice house. It's just not necessarily luxury. But where do you go from there? Okay, so now we're talking, let's say 1% of the sales price is automatically gone. What else do we have to pay for? Well, I mean, depending on what you worked out with the other agent, if there is an agent involved, you may have to pay a percentage. Now, it could be 2%, 3%, 4%. I mean, it's up to you to negotiate with them. So at this point, we already have the 1% that's going out. We have the realtor fee, whichever you came to terms with. And then we have closing costs. And the closing costs to the seller usually aren't that bad. But they also depend on what area you are and what attorney you hire. So again, depending on who you hire, depends on how much it costs you. So in this regard, attorneys on the seller's end, I usually see range somewhere between $750 and $1,300. If you're down in Fairfield County, you expect around that $1,200, $1,300. You're in New Haven County, it's usually around that $750 mark. They will handle all the stuff on their end. The buyer is really the one that has to handle all the title searches and all the stuff that could make issues for you. So if I had to guess, and you wanted just to do simple ease of math in your head, I would tell you to figure on getting about 94.5%, 95% of whatever you agree to sales price. So if you do the math on that, it'll get you right in the ballpark. It's usually pretty close, and you go from there. As a seller, if you did hire an agent, you'd be probably around 92, 93%. I hope that helps. If you need anything, you have any questions, please reach out. I'm Jason Arcuri with the Freedom Group of eXp Realty. I wish you the best for the sale of your home.